everyone, welcome back to Technique Tuesday here at A Cherry on Top's YouTube channel. My name is Sarah, one of the design team members here. We are going to work with distressing this month on our Technique Tuesdays. For my distressing technique, you will need some craft cardstock, a mini mister with some water, and a pad of Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo with a blending brush. We are going to do the same technique kind of over and over and over again. So I'm just going to show it to you twice, two different ways. This is a 3x4 piece of craft cardstock. Whatever craft cardstock is your favorite, I have found that thin or thick both work equally well. You want to spritz it generously with some water from your mini mister or your distress sprayer or whatever water spraying apparatus you have hanging around your craft room. Smush it up really, really good. You really want to smush. Get lots of crinkles and creases into that cardstock and then go over the edges with your scissors or distress tool if you have it. I like scissors. I always have the best distressing kind of results with just some scissors. Next, you're going to take that Distress Oxide ink in the Vintage Photo and your ink blending tool. I'm going to ink the edges of this very liberally, but then I'm also going to do a couple of swipes right into the middle. So this is our first distressing element we're going to create for today's project. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of grab a couple of those edges that I felt like really could use some extra zhuzhing. And we're going to use this 3x4 card as a photo mat, or in this case, an obituary mat. I'm working on an Ancestry pocket page today in my Ancestry project book. My tip is when you adhere whatever your photo is onto this distressed paper, use a lot of glue and put an acrylic block on top of it so that you are able to get a nice firm adhesion with your photo onto your distressed image. The next one we are going to do, I'm going to do this 6 times. So I have some 49 and Market Color Swatch teal rub-ons. And I have 6 2x2 squares of the craft cardstock because that is the pocket page that I have. The pocket page has 6 2x2 openings and 2 3x4 openings. I'm going to use those 6 2x2 openings strictly as decor. So I have 6 2x2 craft squares. Each square is going to get a collection or a selection of the teal rub-ons. The reason I am using so many rub-ons on today's project is because when you distress something, you do get a little bit of texture, and I don't want this album to have a ton of texture. I have lots of pages and things to add to it. It's actually going to end up being 2 volumes. So I want to make sure that I can keep the bulkiness down well. Once I have adhered all of the different rub-on elements onto the craft cardstock squares, I'm going to make sure that they are really, really well adhered, that the rub-ons are really well adhered to the craft cardstock. Generally, if you're using 49 and Market rub-ons, you don't have that to worry about it because they're super sticky. But sometimes, depending on the rub-on you're using, just make very, very sure that the rub-on is well adhered to the paper because we are going to go ahead and add some water. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same distressing technique on all 6 of these squares. What is cool about this is that I put the rub-ons on first so that once you have the rest of this done, you can wet them, you can smush them, you can add this ink blending to them. And when you're finished and everything is dry, it's going to look seamless. It's going to look like this was a pattern paper, or it will look like old fabric. depending on how you use the rub-ons, your imagination is limitless when it comes to this. I am using these small squares for my pocket page, but you could use a larger piece of paper, a larger set of products, and create a border for a scrapbook page. You could create a photo mat that would be wider and would all be all scrunched up and look like, I love the idea of making these and having them look like old fabric, depending on what you're using for your cardstock colors and your Distress Oxide and your rub-ons. It's such a neat technique and super easy. Just uses a little bit of tools, a couple little things that you probably have in your craft room already. And I'm going to go ahead and do this with all 6 of these squares then. Next, I am going to go ahead and put these little squares and my matted photo into this pocket page here. And you can see they go in real easy and they look really cool, lots of interest. For our last 3x4 card, we are going to create a little flip element with all of our journaling. So these are 2 3x4 cards from the Starlight Dreams collection. They're part of a pattern paper that has it's all 3x4 cards. Some have lines, some don't. I chose 2 that had lines and these beautiful kind of floral edging to it. And I did all of my journaling onto these pages. I am going to add, you can see there's those open pieces and on my cards. So I'm going to decorate them a little bit more with some rub-ons. I'm also going to use the swishy rub-on letters from 49 and Market, and I'm going to put a name across the top of the first card. This is the name of my second great-grandmother, so my great-great-grandmother, and she had a really, really long last name, so we're not going to put her last name on this. We're just going to put her first name because it fit really nicely in that top piece. Her name was Carrie, and I have some interesting information and things. I have her obituary. I have not located a photo of her as of yet, but I am finding lots of fun things in my ancestry journey, including photos from other family members that have added photos in that they have. So I'm hoping that at some point we will probably be able to locate, find, and get a photograph of her. I'm hoping. She kind of highlights interesting things. So she was born in 1878 and she lived to be 100 years old. So she died in 1978. She actually died just a couple months before I was born. And with her living for that long, for 100 years, I can't imagine there aren't photographs of her somewhere. In fact, it's quite possible that even someone close in my family, like my dad or my paternal grandmother, may have some hanging around somewhere. I just haven't located them yet. So I flipped over that first journaling card and I am adding some more rub-ons to the back there. The back of this card does have a pattern on it, and so you can kind of see the pattern through the rub-on, but I think it turned out really cute, really nice. I do like it. It's just a little bit more interest. And then I'm also going to go ahead and add the Stitches rub-on. So the stitching rub-ons are also from 49 and Market. They are the Stitching Essentials 2 rub-ons. I love 49 and Market's stitching rub-ons. They are so good. I adore them because I do love the look of stitching, but I don't stitch. So having these, they are so realistic and cool. I really love them. One of my absolutely favorite products from 49 and Market. I am going to create this little flip up with some fabric tape. This is the Essentials fabric tape, and it is repositionable. And I don't want my tape to be repositionable. So I am using my glue press to kind of glue this fabric tape into place so that it will not come undone from this little flip up. And basically that is pretty much how we're going to end my layout. I used my Tim Holtz tiny attacher just for some interesting decor on this front little flip piece, and then on the inside too you can kind of, but it turned out so cute. And what I decided to do was, instead of having it be kind of like a tip out in the pocket, I just took the entire card and stuck it into the pocket. I have lots of pockets in this book like that, where they're not necessarily tip outs or tip ins, they're just pockets in different places where the journaling is, and you can kind of pull them in and out right out of the pocket. And I like that look a little bit better for this book than having something that's a tip out or a tip in, you know, those kinds of things. So for this, I took both of these 3x4 cards and created it so that they were like folded into one piece, but then I put the whole piece into the pocket. Just my personal preference. I like the idea of you being able to flip through the book without things kind of being open or falling out, but then also having that option of being able to pull these kinds of interactive pieces out of the album. So that was kind of my thought on this. So you can see there, you could put it this way. You just have to be mindful of the fabric. And as soon as I started this, I was like, no, this won't work, because who knows, little kids, I have lots of nieces and nephews that at some point might be kind of going through all of this. And so I want to make sure that it's accessible to them without it being damaged. So there is today's pocket page with all of the beautiful distressing. Thank you so much for joining me here at A Cherry on Top's YouTube channel. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.